Hello! Today I'm going to be talking about how to stop saying yes to every invitation, favor, or project that is thrown your way, and instead confidently start saying no. But before I jump into today's topic, for those of you who don't know me or aren't as familiar with me, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tori Hallowell, and I help young professionals who are feeling burnt out in their careers, feeling stuck and unhappy. I help them fight that burnout and get back on track. This is something that I personally struggled with in my past career several years ago, and through a lot of soul-searching trial and error, I actually discovered life coaching, and now I'm set out on a mission and found my purpose to help support and mentor and educate and be there for other burnt out young professionals. So if this resonates with you, if you feel like you're one of these burnt out professionals, then I've actually created for you a free resource guide full of great exercises, tips, strategies, and thoughtful questions that you can ask yourself to kind of get yourself back on track. And I'll actually post the link to download that free resource guide right after I wrap up this video so that you can download it and access it as well. But today we are talking about how to confidently say no. This is something that came up in last week's video when I was talking about how you can start preventing stress from ruining your holidays, taking over your life, and just kind of destroying your mental health. And one of the ways to prevent stress is to start, creating more work-life balance and boundaries for yourself. And one way to do that is by saying no. And so I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into that topic this week because that kind of hit a chord with a couple of different people. So what tends to happen, I don't know if you've noticed this about your life, this is something that I struggle with in my life, is that we are kind of programmed from an early age to say yes to everything. If a boss asks you to take on extra work or extra projects, friends invite you out for all these different types of girls' nights or events out or parties, or maybe you are the go-to person and your friends are always asking you for help or for favors or for advice. And it just keeps piling on all these extra projects and commitments, and you start to feel resentful or burnt out. We're programmed to say yes to everyone and to everything that comes our way. And the problem is that sometimes saying yes to every little thing that comes up in our life, it can burn us out, right? It can lead to burnout in our careers, in our relationships, in our lifestyle, and it can really lead to unhappiness. And what happens is that oftentimes when we end up saying yes to people, when we don't want to do whatever it is that we're being asked to do, we can then build up and feel resentful towards them and towards the activity or the project that we've committed to. And this can actually lead to stress, which is something that we are trying to better prevent and better manage and cope with. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why it's really okay to say no to some things and how to confidently do so. Now, when I talk about saying no to some things, that doesn't mean that I want you to say no to every little thing in your life that comes up. I don't want you to become that person who, goes to work and then just goes home to watch Netflix or scroll through their phone or just kind of detached from family, friends, and from life. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about are those people pleasers, such as myself, or those people who never say no to everything and then tend to just be running around like a crazy person, trying to fulfill everyone else's needs and not necessarily putting themselves first, right? Raise your hand if that might be you. So, what happens is that oftentimes when we're put in a position where we kind of feel coerced or forced or pressured into saying yes, we do so because we feel guilty about saying no. There's that fear of guilt, or there's that fear of being judged by the other person. Maybe they're going to think that we're not a good friend, or that we're selfish, we're not there for them. Sometimes you say yes to requests, especially if it's an invitation somewhere, because you're afraid of missing out on something, and that FOMO is pushing you to be there, even though you don't actually want to commit the time and the energy to doing so. There's this great quote I read in an article about there's this kind of epidemic of the need to please and the disease to please, and that is that we're so programmed, we're so used to saying yes to everyone all the time that it kind of becomes this contagious disease, and there's no time to cure it and kind of put ourselves first. One, and we also have this fear of letting people down. This is definitely a fear of mine. One of my biggest fears is that I'm not going to be the right kind of friend for someone. I'm not going to be there for them. And that kind of feeds into my people-pleasing syndrome, where I'm always going to say yes. I'm always going to support them and be there for them. And sometimes I really do burn myself out, especially because I'm an introvert and I need time to recharge my battery, some me time to reflect, and to just kind of, take those quiet moments to kind of make sure that I'm in the right mental state to be there for other people. And so when I tend to say yes to every single favor or problem or project or commitment, I burn myself out. And so I just really want to stress the importance of finding that balance in your own life and really knowing that it is okay to say no. Oftentimes, if you're feeling burnt out, you're struggling with this in your careers or your lifestyle or your relationships, we often have these goals of prioritizing commitments in our own life. Maybe you want to prioritize getting more sleep, or finding time to exercise, or find time to cook so you're eating something healthy, or finding time to work on that resume so that you can start applying for other jobs because you're really unhappy where you currently are. We have all these goals in our lives and commitments that we want to follow through, and oftentimes they get pushed to the wayside because something comes up that we feel like we need to say yes to. So I really want to remind you that it's okay to turn some invitations down, to turn some work down if you're able to, so that you can really prioritize what would be the most important in your life to fulfill. Those goals are the steps to reaching those goals. Now, a couple things. I have some helpful tips to help you more confidently say no to someone, because this is something that happens, is that when we want to say no, we often lack the self-confidence to do so. So when someone asks you for help, or to work on a project, or to take on an additional task at work, or to hang out with them and grab dinner after work, and you just don't want to, you have too much on your plate, you need a break, maybe you want to hit the gym or work on that resume, or just have a night for yourself. When someone asks you to do something, asks you for commitment, one thing I recommend is don't leave them hanging for too long. Let them know that you need to check your planner, you need to check your calendar, see what's going on for the night, but don't leave it hanging. Don't leave it, unresponsive. Let them know as quickly as you can whether or not you are able to help them out or to commit to whatever they've asked you to commit to. Oftentimes, if you don't get back to them, or if you start to really fester about what it is that you do or don't want to do and how you're going to respond, it just creates resentment and stress in your life. And again, we're trying to prevent that. So, take a few minutes to figure out how you want to respond on your own. Let them know that you have to check your planner, see if you can fit it in. But get back to them as soon as you can, and then it won't be hanging over your head. And when you do respond to the person, let them know, hey, it's not going to work out, or I don't think I can fit this in, or I'm not sure that I can balance that right now. But don't feel like you have to over-explain or overshare why you can't commit to whatever they're asking you to do, right? This will help you avoid lying, which will make you feel icky, and no one likes a liar. And it will also kind of allow you to let them know very quickly and succinctly, hey, I already committed to this, or I really need to prioritize this in my life. I don't think I can fit it in. And if they're a good friend, coworker, boss, they'll understand. They will get it, and they'll back off. If they tend to be someone who pressures you, bullies you, keeps bringing it up, then it's someone that maybe you want to kind of back away from and not necessarily associate with moving forward, right? If they're going to be that bully or pressure you, they clearly don't respect you the way that you deserve to be respected, and it's time to give yourself some space from them. Something else you can do is, if you aren't able to commit to something, if you are going to say no because you need to have a night off or some me time or hit that gym, like I said, whatever it is that you want to not respond to, one way that can kind of ease the guilt that you might be feeling and give you that confidence boost is to, still give that person who's asking for help some encouragement or a compliment. Maybe suggest someone else they could reach out to, or give them something else that might help them overcome whatever their issue or problem is. By giving them a little bit of feedback or advice or support, they're going to be left feeling good, and you're going to be left feeling good, but you're also going to have that night or that time to yourself where you're not feeling overcommitted and burnt out. And lastly, saying no is actually a skill, right? We were brought up and raised often to say yes to every opportunity that comes our way, to say yes to networking or events or that extra project to get ahead, or saying yes to our boss or our friends. We're programmed to say yes. So it's a skill to learn how to say no, especially if it's something that you're not familiar with or comfortable with. And so I really want to encourage you, as silly as it sounds, to start practicing saying no. When you're brushing your teeth in the bathroom, or look in the mirror, if you know that an invitation's coming your way or a project's coming your way, practice saying no on your own. Go into your office, close the door, and give it a whirl. Because the more that you practice a skill like saying no, the more confident you're going to be in your delivery. And just also keep this in mind, especially at work, because I know that a lot of times we get asked and pushed to our limits to take on more and more projects, more and more assignments at work. And if you're feeling kind of boxed in, remind yourself, how well am I going to deliver on this project or this assignment if I'm going to be burnt out? If I'm already handling all these other tasks and commitments, and I'm about to say yes to my boss again without really talking to them about how I'm feeling and what I'm trying to balance, how good is the end result going to really be? Are you going to be sacrificing how well a project is going to turn out because you keep saying yes and you haven't checked in with your boss or your coworkers to let them know how much you already have on your plate? So kind of keep that in mind too. Saying no is really about self-care, prioritizing yourself and your needs, your values, and your commitments first. That doesn't mean that you're a bad friend, a bad employer, a bad coworker. It just means that you're creating balance and boundaries in your life so that you can really give 100% in every part of your life, in your relationships, your job, and also in taking care of yourself. So I really hope that this video about how to say no confidently without the guilt so that you can really be there for yourself and for others, I really hope this has helped you in some way. If you have loved what I shared with you today, if it's resonated with you, or if you think it could really help a friend, a coworker, a significant other who might be struggling, learning how to say no and always saying yes and burning themselves out, please share this video with them. Like this video, comment on it. Let's spread the word. Let's get everyone kind of on the same page and creating more balance in their life. And as always, just a reminder that if you are looking to create more balance in your life, if you're looking for boundaries and to really put yourself first, put your goals and your commitments first, but you just don't know how to do that, please reach out. I work all the time with clients one-on-one to help them with these same kind of goals, overcome these same kind of obstacles, and I would love to touch base and help you as well. So don't be afraid, send me a message, I would love to hear from you. And I look forward to connecting again next week on Facebook Live at noon when I dive into my next topic. So until then, have a wonderful, fantastic, awesome week, and I will talk to you then. Bye.